The accounts payable invoice reports are located underneath the accounts payable module, and the menu option is print invoice reports. This particular report is extremely versatile. It has several different reports generated off of this screen. First of all, you have the option of picking pick to pay, not pick to pay or all. Pick to pay simply says what are the invoices that I currently have picked for payment, so when I print checks, these are the invoices and the amounts in which it's going to pay. As you can see, there were a lot of other options. I just left those defaults as is, and I just hit the print button. And as you can see, it's showing you the amount that you're going to be paying on these particular invoices with the total. And also to the left, you can see it tells you how many checks you're going to need to put in the printer when you print your checks. We can close this out, and let's try the next option, which is not pick to pay. And this is a nice way to manage your open accounts payable invoices, because it actually has a due in days column, which will tell you whether or not a current invoice is past due or in how many days it will become due. In this particular instance, you can see that all of these are saying past due. They are old. And it gives you the basic invoice information, what the amounts were, whether or not any amount has been paid, and the balance, and so forth. On the bottom, it gives you the totals, and that is for just invoices that are not selected to be paid at this time. And of course, you can do it for all. If you just want to get a general total amount of purchases for a certain time period, all is a good way to do it. And when you do all, you're including zero balance invoices. This way you can get an accurate picture of all your purchases. Obviously, if you're not interested in that, you can take the include zero balance invoices off, and you can see as far as really you would only do that for a not pick to pay. And but in any event, you can put a date range in. By default, this screen is going to show you the full date range of all of your accounts payable invoices. So it may actually take a little bit long to load this screen. But if I wanted to see all my purchases from 1/1/02 until 12/31/02 for all of last year, I can just go ahead and put in that invoice date range. I can click include history, and what's more is maybe I'm going to change the option to be summary, because I really don't want to see all the detail. I just want to get the aggregate totals, total purchases for that time period. If I wanted to see it for a certain vendor range or one vendor in particular, I could have put a vendor range in here. Same thing for importance. Due date, in this particular instance, you really would only change the due date if you were choosing a not pick to pay report. Otherwise, it really has no relevance. And the reference range. The reference range is great. That is something that you can get total dollar purchases for a particular reference by putting in a reference range. Okay, so you can see that it's showing us all of the amounts for these vendors. Invoice amount is your total purchases. So there was $27,000 in total purchases, and you can see most of that is for Acme importers. The other guys, where it's coming up with zero, what happened in that instance is there was a positive invoice, and then that invoice was then credited out. So it does show up, even though it nets out to be zero. Okay. The only other option really worth mentioning is the account number range. When I first ran the pick to pay report, what it did is it gave me the option over here to use an account range. So if I wanted to just see which checks were going to be printed for a particular account, and I had multiple accounts with each account having checks selected to be paid, I could better manage this report by choosing for just a one bank account. This way, when it tells me I have 3 checks to print, I know it's for the one bank account, and I don't mix up the check printing for multiple bank accounts. Or really, put in too many checks, I guess. And that concludes the Accounts Payable Invoice Report feature.